Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, you have 2 minutes to do that, and we are going to do that. I'm going to allocate 20 minutes for that exercise. Senator John Newton. Not present. Senator Sotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have two clarifications. The first clarification to the Council for the Deputy President, and is on the matter of the first charge on the issue of shareholding. Can the Council, based on Rule 30, of the Standing Orders, explain the specific relevance of the Kenya Kwanza Coalition Agreement as a piece of evidence? My second question is the Council of National Assembly on the ground number 8, where it is alleged that the Deputy President violated Section 132 of the Penal Code. So maybe we can be told a lot more about whether there was any report made to the relevant authorities as far as this charge is concerned.
Senator Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to seek some clarifications from the Honorable Mûtuse. Very fast, Mr. Speaker. First of all, what led him to, if he did, to think of auditing the wealth of the Deputy President? Was he auditing institutions? And if he was auditing the presidency, would he kindly tell us also about the wealth of the president? Number two, Mr. Speaker, who did this particular motion for Honorable Mûtuse? And why I ask that, Mr. Speaker, is because every time he's asked a question, he says, I think so, I believe so. He does not give convincing reasons, in my view, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he has listed several companies. And these companies, upon cross-examination, he has said repeatedly for each of them that he has no problem with the companies, apart from saying that he thought that there was an intention to use them for money laundering and some other corrupt activities, Mr. Speaker. So exactly what, is it a crime to have, in his understanding, to own companies for the Deputy President or any other Kenyan, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, when you look at the affidavit made by one Jomo, Mr. Njomo, about acquisition of Olive Gardens Hotel, with a promise, it is alleged, that the Deputy President would buy the same later. Is it a crime?
Senator Ojenda. Honorable Senators, condense your thoughts. You only have 2 minutes within which to seek the clarifications. And both teams kindly note down the questions so that once the senators are done raising, we'll come to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask the witness, Mûtuse, you have been taken to great lengths on the ownership or the shareholding of the 22 companies that you have associated the Deputy President with, I want you to just clarify why you included the 22 companies in your impeachment. You set out allegations on several companies. Clarify one, you refer to Olive Gardens Hotel, you refer to the, again, Vifingo Beach Resort in Kilifi County. You set out the CR12 of both. Now I want you to just tell us, or clarify, the significance of the inclusion of these two companies. Just clarify that. On the ownership of Queensgate Serviced Apartments, you also seem to raise a number of issues. I want you to also clarify the ownership of Queensgate Service Apartments and why you attribute the questions. You asked several questions by counsel on Queensgate. I want you to make a clarification. But let's go to the other question, Mr. Mûtuse. In charge number 1, you have referred to the obligation.
Senator Mngatana.
Asante Bwana Spika. Mimi nilikuwa nataka kumuuliza Mheshimiwa Mûtuse, mbunge wa Kibwezi Mashariki, atufafanulie wakati ambapo Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais alipokuwa anazunguka na kusema anapigania haki za Mrima, yeye kama mbunge wa Kibwezi Mashariki na kama mbunge wa kutoka sehemu ya jimbo gatuzi la Makueni, je, alijisikia ama alijihisi kwamba anabaguliwa ama anawekwa kando katika nchi hii ya Kenya? Tueleze vizuri, tuelewe. Asante, fafanua.
Senator Enokumbo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will have two clarifications to seek from Mheshimiwa Mûtuse, but because my leader, Senator Governor James Orengo, opened this session with the verse from the Bible, I will also read one from the Bible. The book of Exodus chapter 23, verse 1. You shall not spread a false report. You shall not join hands with a wicked man to be a malicious witness. That is the Bible. Mr. Mûtuse, I want to know from Mr. Mûtuse, one, is this impeachment motion really and truly your motion? I ask that question, Mr. Speaker, because on all accounts, the witness is unable to prove anything. Is this your motion, or are you called to just sign a motion, then to come and defend it here? Secondly, in the oath of office for the Deputy President, it is required of him to diligently serve the people of the Republic of Kenya in the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The people that reside in the Mount Kenya region are Kenyans. What is so wrong with the Deputy President, a state officer, in defending people from a region in this country and then coming to defend other people in Nairobi and other people in other regions? What is so wrong? What is impeachable about that defense? I thank the Speaker.
Senator Veronica.
Honorable Mûtuse, just to clarify a few issues. One, are there any charges for money laundering that have been preferred against the Deputy President? That's one. And then to confirm whether the Asset Recovery Agency. The case of the Asset Recovery Agency that was before Justice Esther Maina was fully resolved using the consent order. Those two clarifications.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I need to seek two clarifications, and one of them is from the Council of the Deputy President. This is in regards to the allegation on ground 4 in terms of the consent that was reached upon for the 200 million. I heard that there was a consent after the Deputy President filed an appeal of the case, which I believe the judgment still stands. Do we have that consent? And in what circumstances led to that consent being agreed upon and the money returned, the 200 million shillings returned to the Deputy President, yet the High Court had already determined that that money were proceeds of corruption? Was it threats? Number two, I'd like to seek some clarification on the concept of shareholding. Is a coalition agreement a company? Is Kenya government a company? Because I was still not very clear about those two issues. Because we've been invited to interpret the coalition agreement of Kenya Kwanza. Yet, every time, based on the evidence presented, all I could hear is the Deputy President talking about people. So are people now part of the coalition agreement? And is the coalition agreement a company, or is it a coalition agreement registered with the Register of Political Parties?
Senator Meth.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also